Alright, so this is the current state of our build. As you can see, there's probably going to have to be some adjustments made here. Yeah, see how rough the tail is. So the upper wing struts, this is how the kit has designed the structure at the top of the fuselage with these wire supports. And what you would do here is on the upper wing, two balsa cross pieces about a 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch thick, 1/4 inch wide, 1/8 inch thick, and about this long, are inserted into the upper wing during construction, and then they are grooved so that they rest right here and sort of recess the bar. The problem with this in my application, my construction, that would work fine on a tissue covered airplane. That wouldn't interfere with any of the process of building up and finishing the fuselage. But in my process with the infill and the multiple coats of filler and sanding, these are going to definitely be in the way of a smooth finish across the top of the fuselage here. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to try two things. First, I'm going to cut these off right here at this corner and take out the crossbars and see if I can work around just these skinny posts as I'm finishing up and working on the top of the fuselage. If even these are in the way, we'll just clip those off as well. That's a little problematic, trying to get them chopped at least flush, or if not recessed to the infill that I'm going to put on here. The good news is that on this aircraft, as I said at one point, there are features on the fuselage at each of these locations. There's an aerodynamic bump, a blister at each point, sort of a teardrop shaped blister at each connection for all the struts. For the wing struts, there's one at each corner. For the landing gear, there's one at each corner. And so that's going to help me to hide anything protruding here if it becomes necessary to remove these. And whether or not that becomes necessary, those blisters are going to be applied. I'm going to be putting those on. So in light of that, I'm leaning more and more towards just clipping off the wires and mounting struts as I did with the Aeronca, just finishing the fuselage completely clean and smooth of any wire, and then coming back in and drilling locations for my wire core struts. So I'm leaning towards that, just completely removing them. But as I said, I like to start with the kit design, build to the kit plan, and then see how I can apply it. And you would think, well, think it through beforehand, but sometimes an adaptation of an existing situation works as well as some preconceived plan. So, and having never built this kit before, I thought, well, let's just take a look and see how that looks. But in finishing, it's clearly a problem for trying to shape and sand across the top of the fuselage here. These are going to definitely interfere with that process. We won't be able to get that smooth finish. And the more I think about it, the more I'm realizing that having these wires at any location are going to interfere with that. I really want this torpedo shape to be as smooth as glass all the way around, because that's what the prototype, that's what the Lockheed Air Express, Vega, all iterations of this airplane were about, was having a clean, smooth torpedo shape, and then the wing just being literally a perfect razor just such a clean shape. That's what we're trying to replicate on any aircraft model. You look for the one or two or even three key identifying features, and whether it's the chin scoop on a P-40, the midpoint scoop of a P-51 Mustang, the shape of that, the shape of its wing, and the bubble top canopy in that case of the P-51. Those are the features you really want to hone in on and make sure that you're reproducing accurately. And so it is, for any car, model or aircraft replication, you really want to capture those key features especially. So the key feature again on this is just that clean shape, that clean, smooth finish to the wing and to the fuselage. So at this point, that's what I wanted to talk about here. Was we've got the metal installed, but I think I'm going to remove it all. Like I said, we'll first try just nipping these off, the crossbars, nipping those out. We'll leave the landing gear on, and we'll begin our infill and finishing process, and then we'll see how much they interfere with getting that smooth look to the airplane. And if they interfere too much, then I'll remove those as well. And as I said, the blisters that we're going to be applying, this may or may not be some of them, should hide anything that's left behind from this adjustment that we're about to make. All right, later.